Hello guys, my name is Koushik and welcome back to LetCode. So far in our Playwright series, we have learned all the basics. Not all the basics, but most of the basics we have covered. Today we are going to step ahead and we are going to learn the page object model. So if you are from the Selenium background or Protector or WebDriver IO or maybe any other testing things, probably you know what is Playwright. I mean, what is page object model? If you do not know what is the page object model, to be simple, is like a design pattern, or we can also say like a framework where we will store all the objects, that is element in a class, and based on that objects or the element we are going to write the function. Benefits is basically we can write reusable functions that can be used across different tests or different pages. Okay, so we'll segregate our elements and the related functions actions within the page classes, and we will use those actions to write our test script. Okay, so that is very in simple manner. If you do not know what is page object model or why we should use that in our testing framework, probably you can watch this video to learn about page object model and its benefits in detail. Okay, now we are going to start the page object model for our Playwright series. Okay, it's going to be very simple. Let me show you. Okay, before getting into the code, let me tell you the scenario what we are going to do. So it's very simple. We are going to take our letcode.in application and we are going to click on this login. So here we have another page, and here we are going to enter the username, the password, and then we are going to click on the login. Once we clicked on, we are going to verify this toast message, and after that we are going to click on this sign out. Okay, it's going to be very simple and easy, but based on this, in the next video we will take some complex scenario as well. Okay, so let's start it now. So before starting, I'm going to create a folder here. So within the, I'm using the same project because already we have all the basics codes here, so I'm just using the same project. Okay, so I'm going to create a folder called page, and within the page I'm going to create first header. Okay, so header dot page dot ts. Okay, so dot page dot ts, it not necessary you should write in the same naming convention, but just to make you understand, I'm writing like header dot page dot ts. Okay, header is nothing but this guy. So this guy is known as header, where we are going to click on this login or maybe sign up, or maybe we can just toggle this kind of drop down, right? So this area, this header is basically my static in my web, in my application. For example, if I go to the let's practice and if I go to any other page, you can see that the header is going to be exactly same. Similarly, the footer is going to be same. The in between, the main content only is going to change, right? So if something is static or if something is like reusable, you can make it as a common function or maybe separate classes. Okay, then we are going to write about the login page. So let's write the login page first. So I'm going to name the same login dot page dot ts. Okay, and apart from that, we don't need anything as of now. Maybe in future we will add it. Okay, and let's create a class for. Okay, so I'm going to create export. Before that, we have to say export, and then we have to say default class, and then followed by the class name. So that's going to be header page. Okay, and it's a TypeScript, of course, so we can use the class, the inheritance concept, everything very easily. And export in the sense, we can use this, we can create an object using this class. I will show you while writing the test cases. Okay, and within the header, what we are going to do, so let's say that we want to verify, like we have this image or we have this sign up button or login button as well, right? So we're going to write for that as well. So let me write for this login button first. So I'm going to click inspect, and let's dock it here first. Okay, so it has a anchor tag, anchor tag, and the text as login. Okay, so we can use this like text. Okay, yeah, so how we are going to write is basically we can write in two ways. Two ways in the sense, like we will store the object first. We can store the object in the form of getter or maybe in a simple method, but I'm going to use the getter. That will be look neat and clean, and also we have, like, we do not have to write lots of method. Instead of that, we can write the getter. Okay, so let me show you that. But before that, first of all, we need a constructor here, and within the constructor I'm going to pass the page. Okay, so we know that for each and every test cases we have written so far like page dot that dollar symbol to find the locator, or page dot click or page dot fill, right? So we want the page object here, so I'm going to do the same. So first of all, we'll create a private page variable here, and then we'll just give the type as a page here. Okay, so you can just give control space, it will do the auto import, and that is the benefits of VS Code. And then what we are going to do, we are going to get it in the constructor as well. Okay, so here I'm going to say page, and that is also of type page. Okay, then what I'll do, whatever I'm getting from the constructor, I will store that in the page object that is available in my class. Okay, if you're not getting this, just give me a few minutes, I will explain you once again. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to store the locators first. Okay, so I'll just write a comment here, so locators. And then what are the things we need, we need sign up, we need login, and few other things. Okay, so as of now I will just write this login. Okay, so here the text is login, so I can copy that, and here I can say like public get, and then followed by we'll just use the ele naming convention, and here we'll say like login button, so login button. And then here you can see that it's giving us some compile time issues, like a get accessor must have a return value. Okay, so whenever you use this keyword called get, of course we have to return. So for example, if I say like return something, then it's fine. If I don't write a return, it will obviously throw me the error. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to return the element, right? So for that, of course I need this dot page, so we need the page object first, and then we need the object, right? So I mean the element, right? So here I'm going to say like text equal to the text whatever we are getting. Okay, so this very simple thing, so text equal to this login, in the sense it is like your link text. Okay, in Selenium. Okay, now this guy is going to of course return me an element. We'll store that like login btn. Okay, and we know that this element is if it's not there, it's going to return us null, right? So we will check the null as well. So if login button it's not equal to null. Okay, so if it's not null, then what we'll do, we'll say like login button. I mean we have to just return, we don't have to write so much thing here, but still we'll just write return login button. Okay, else what will happen in the sense, else we'll say like throw new error, and we'll say like no element. Okay, why I'm doing like this is very simple. So we know that this guy is going to return as element or the null, right? So if it's going to be null, of course we won't get any error, right? So it will just consider the object as a null, and it won't do anything, it will just skip to the next line. Okay, so to avoid that, because if there is no element, of course our script should stop, or else it's just wasting of time, right? So here we'll check the null value. If it's not null, then we'll just return it, or else we'll just throw the error and we'll stop it. Okay, while running the test case I will give you a demo for this as well. Okay, so similarly once we logged in, we have to do the sign out, right? So I'm going to take this one. Before that, let's go and yeah, we'll inspect the sign out. So that's going to be exactly same, so I'm just going to copy paste, and here instead of login button we'll just say like log out, or we can name it like sign out. Okay, sign out button, and here the text is sign out, so we'll just copy and replace over here. Very easy, nothing much here. And when we are passing this as a link text, make sure you going to do the trim here. Okay, and this can be same login button, because this is your this method scope, but still just to make it more readable, I'm going to say like sign out element. Okay, so two function is pretty much enough as of now. Let's see how to write the action for this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the click action here, right? So I have to click on this login button. That is what mostly we are going to perform as per the test case scenario. Of course we can verify whether this display is visible or not we'll see that later. Okay, so here I'm going to write a function, so public, and that should be of async, and then we are going to say like click login link, probably I can say like login link. Okay, so this is my login link, so I'm just going to click on that. Okay, so how to click is very simple. First of all, we'll say await, and here we'll say like this dot page, sorry, not page, so we have to get this element, right? So we'll say that this dot element login button dot, we'll store it here. Okay, so we'll store it here again like const element equal to, and then we are going to do the click action. So element dot click, and here you can see again we are checking if it's not null, because this is going to return me the value, the element. If the element is not null, then we are going to do the click action. So this is what also we have done here. So we have written if else, and this is like we are checking if it's null or not null. I believe I already have explained you like why this question mark comes. So yeah, and here also we have to say await, of course, or else it won't work. Okay, so similarly I'm going to write for the sign out. So here we'll say like sign out link, and this guy should be element sign out. Okay, that's it, pretty much done. We have written our first page. Okay, of course you can write this and everything, but for our scenario, for this example, I think this is pretty much enough. Okay, now let's go to our login page, and here we are going to write a class again. Okay, and we should have a constructor, and within the constructor we are going to get the uh, page. So let's page equal to page, and then we are going to set it in the class role. So this dot page equal to page, and what is this dot page? Basically we have to define. Okay, so here we'll say like private page equal to, I mean page colon of page. Okay, yeah, I will explain this while writing the test cases. Don't worry about it as of now. Okay, so in this login page, what we are going to do is, of course, we can verify all the headers, we can verify the label, and we can verify this, everything we can do. But this is just a like sample video for you. So I will just quickly go through only with the two text box and one button. Okay, so let's go and inspect this one. So here we can use the CSS. So let me take that. So here we have a CSS called input name, so I'm going to use that. Okay, before that we will just create a getter first. So public get, mostly the whatever the elements we are storing as a get, that should be of private type, but I'm writing is public. The reason is very simple. When we are going to write the test cases, we can use this directly, like object dot and the element name. We can use that directly, and we can check like is visible, is enabled, all those stuff. So that is the reason we are making it as a public, or else after storing the element, then again we have to write a function to get it as a public. So instead of that, we can use like public get and then followed by the element name. Okay, so here I'm going to say element, and this is going to be my email text field eld. Okay, and then what we have to do, yeah, we have to return first. So before returning, what we'll do, we'll just find the element. So this dot page dot, and here we'll pass our CSS value, and we'll store that as a element in element name. Okay, and we can check the null, or else we can just do the return like this. Okay, instead of doing this, we can just say like return element. I mean we can say this as well, so that is also fine. Anything however you want, you can write it. Okay, but if we just do the return while using this function, we have to check for the null. Okay, because Playwright does not throw you any error if the element locator is wrong. So basically we have to handle that. That is the reason we are going to write the if condition. But if you watch carefully, then each and every function should have a if condition. We have a way to handle that. We'll write our base class, and probably we'll just customize that in next video. Okay, so stick around. Okay, so similarly I'm just going to write for the password and the login button. So here it should be like uh, pass, and this should be your login button. Okay, and just get this value. So here it's password. Okay, and then this guy is text. We can write the button text like that. Button has text. I think I don't remember the syntax exactly, so maybe we'll just go with the XPath here. Okay, so we can just say like this. Okay, so this fine. We can say double slash. Then the XPath directly. A playwright can understand that it has a double slash. Then obviously we say XPath. Okay, yeah. So we have got all the getters of the elements. Now let's write a function for that. Okay, so I'm going to say like public enter user name, and we'll make it as dynamic. So I'll just get the name here, and that should be of type string. Okay, and of course it should be async, and then within that I'm going to write await this dot element user text field dot not dot. So we are going to say like this dot page dot fill, and here can I say like this dot element text? Now that won't work, because here we have to give the selector as a string, not this one. Okay, so what we will do is we'll just make it very simple. We'll just store it first. Okay, so element text, and then we'll just store it here again. So const element. Okay, and then again we'll say like await element dot fill, and here we are going to pass the data. Okay, so whatever the data we are going to get from the method as a parameter, we are going to pass it here. Okay, very simple. And here you can see this is fine, this will work, but if the element is wrong we won't understand. That is the reason we should write the if condition. I will show you, you might get a better idea. Okay, so as of now let it be like the same. Okay, let's write quickly for another method, and here this should be like password, and this guy should be pass. Okay, and this guy should be element pass. Okay, and then we are going to write a click function. So we'll say like click login button. Okay, and this guy should be element login button, and the spelling is worst. You can click on F2, it will change everyone. Okay, so element and login button. Okay, so here also you can see it got changed. Okay, so F2 is the shortcut, and then we are not going to do the fill, we are going to do the click. Okay, yeah, cool. So three functions and three getters and a constructor. That is pretty much for this thing. uh, okay, so once we do the login, of course we can, if you want, you can handle this like when we click on this, we can say like it has to wait until the page navigations get completed. Okay, so let's go and do the this guy inspection. So here it's had something called okay, let me log it in. So I believe you know how to get the toast message element. I'll just show you again. Okay, just click on the F8, you go to source, you click on this guy, you click on F8, your DOM will get paused, or else I have already made a video on this. I will just leave a link here, check that to know how to inspect the toast message. Okay, and this guy has a role called alert dialog, so we'll just write a CSS for this. So how to write CSS div, and within the bracket we'll say like a role equal to this guy. Okay, pretty much fine. And yeah, so now the question is we can check the text, or else we can check like whether this guy is visible or not. Okay, so as of now the data is not managed properly, so we'll check like if that is visible or not. Okay, or maybe we'll do some partial check. Okay, so as soon as I do the login, I have to verify that, right? But that toast message in most of the application will be common. So the element id or element locator will be common, only the message will be varied. Okay, so instead of writing within the same page, we can write it within the common function. Okay, so I will just name it like common function, or we'll just follow the same common dot page dot ts, and here I'm going to say export, and then default, come on, class, and here we are going to say common functions. Okay, and of course we need a constructor, and within the constructor we'll do something, and then we are going to write a getter here. So public get, this guy is going to be my toast, and we can give it good name, I think, toaster maybe, yeah, toaster. And this guy is going to return me the element. For that I need a page, so let's write that. So I'm going to say private page, and that is going to be of type page, and then I'm going to pass it within the constructor. Okay, and here I'm going to say this dot page equal to page. Okay, if you're familiar with Java, probably you can understand like why this is we are using, but still I will show you. Okay, and here I'm going to say this dot page dot the elementer. I don't know what this exactly name, some people call it as jQuery symbol, some people call it as dollar, but I don't know what is that exactly. Yeah, so this is our guy, so we are going to copy and paste over here. Okay, cool. Now what we'll do, we will write a function, right? So here I'm going to say like public async verify toast message. Okay, and then what we are going to do is we are going to check the um, okay, we don't have to write the verification function here. Verifications mostly will be written within the test class, test page or test class technically, not within the page classes. So we'll just grab the element, and that is fine for now. Okay, now let's go back. We have to write for the sign out. Sign out is within the header page, so already we have that. Okay, so fine, as of now we have written everything. Now let's see how to write the test class. Okay, so within the test folder I'm going to create another folder just for your reference. So here I will write like page object test. Okay, so you can refer it based on this folder, and all the codes are available on my GitHub. You can check the source code, the link will be in the description. Okay, now here I'm going to say like tc 001 underscore login dot test dot ts. Okay, and here of course the same thing, the describe block first, and then we'll just name it like tc 001, and here we'll write some test block. I'm just going to write one test. Probably I will do others as to do. You can do yourself. Okay. Yeah, and within this test, what we are going to do, we are going to do the login positive scenario. So positive, login positive, and you can have your test case ID like your let's say this is going to be my Jira ticket ID of 101, so I can name it here. Okay, so this is basically your test case number, and this is your test ID. Okay, so like your model or maybe your suite or maybe your category kind of things. Okay, yeah, fine. But before running the test, of course we have to get the all the objects to launch the browser, right? So I'm just going to use the before all for that, and here I'm going to be little lazy, and I'm going to copy paste the code. Okay, so let's go to any of our previous code, and we'll just copy this guy and we'll paste over here. Okay, and here we have to do the import. So simple as you just click on that error message and you give control dot, and here you can see an option called add all missing import. Just click on that, it will be imported. Okay, so very simple. Yeah, and here instead of hard coding the URL, what you can do is we can maintain a common file, and within the common file we can pass the URL. Okay, let me show you that also. It's going to be very simple. So I'm just going to create another folder, and here I'm going to say like base, or I can say like utils maybe. Okay, utils, and within the utils I'm going to create a file called environment .ts file. Okay, and here we'll just say like export default class env, and then I will create a public static, and we'll name it like test environment. Okay, so test environment, just test is fine, and we'll just pass the url. Okay, and this guy is of type string, and here we can pass our test url, that is letCode.in. So just pass it. Why I'm creating static? Because I don't have to get the object, I can just access it directly. Okay, so here I have to say like environment, the class name dot test is the string name, the environment url. Similarly, if you have like more data, for example, let's say that this is your test and this is your integration environment, and then you have your production, or you have your maybe staging. So based on your applications, you know what are the things you have. Based on that, you can have like different variables, and of course it should be changed. For example, I will say like int dot, and this is going to be my prod dot, and this guy is going to be my staging. So stg dot letgo dot. Okay, kind of this one. So before running you can just change it. uh, Even we don't have to hard code here as well, we can write a common function, because for the first test case we are creating before all, and we are repeating this code. For the second case also, second test case also, we have to repeat the same. For the third test case also, we have to repeat the same. Instead of that, we can write a base class and we can do that here. Okay, so you write it once and you call it everywhere. That is the kind of framework. Okay, yeah, anyways, so we are going to write the test case, and here itself we can create the object, or else we can create the object for header page, common functions, or the login within the test. But it is not recommended to write within the test, because if you have like multiple tests, like let's say that we have 5-6 tests, between each and every test it is going to create an object. But instead of that, we can create the object before all, so only once object will be created, and we can use the same object across all the tests. Okay, now let's create it. Okay, so first of all we'll write here like what are the things we want. Okay, so I'll just add a comment like my pages. So far we are using all the things like this browser, this context, and this page from Playwright. Now we are going to write the uh, class name that we have written. Okay, so first of all what we need the um, header, right? So we need the header, so we'll just create a so header page. So here you can see we are getting this header page, and then we are going to use the login. So I'll just make it like login page. Okay, and then we are also going to use the common function, right? So I'll just name it like common. Okay, so common functions. Okay, that's it. Cool. Now we are going to create an object for all this. Okay, so here I can say like header equal to new, then followed by the header page, and here you can see in the constructor it needs the page object basically. So what is happening over here, in the sense, if you go inside this constructor, you can see that this guy need a page. So what are the page we are going to receive? For example, here I'm going to pass the page. Okay, right? What is page? Page is nothing but this one, right? So this, when we created a new page, we are getting the page object, and we are passing to this constructor. So what will happen means it will go to this one, right? So here we got the already created object, and we have assigned that to this class level page. Okay, now when I say this dot page, of course it's going to be here, right? So this is what we have set it here. Okay, so it's like we are receiving the page object from external, then internal page object we are setting. Okay, that's it. Very simple concept. I believe you are able to understood. Okay, I mean you are able to understand. Yeah, anyways, fine, let's move on. So similarly I'm going to create for the login as well. So login equal to new login page, and here also we'll pass the page, and then for the common also, so common equal to new common functions, and here we'll pass the page. Okay, that's it. Very cool, neat and cool. Now let's write the test. So first of all, what we have to do, we have to go to the URL, right? So where is that go to? So here already we have moved to the URL. Okay, so that is we are on this home page. Then we have to click on the login first from the header, right? So first what we'll say, we'll say header dot click login link. Okay, so that is the login link, and don't forget to add the await, or else your script will fail. Okay, because everything is async and await. So if I mouse over, you can see promise. Okay, and then I'm going to enter the username that is coming from my login page, right? So here I'll say like login dot enter username, and as of now I'll just hard code this one, but in future, or if you watched my protector videos, there I have used the JSON. So same concept only. If you learn how to read data from JSON, that is going to be applicable for Playwright, WebDriver IO, um, protector, whatever, all the JSTS, everything is going to be same. Okay, and then we are going to enter the password. So enter user password, and the password is this guy. What is this? Okay, so password is pass $1 to $3, so we'll just change this data, and semicolon is not necessary, but we are just writing. Okay, and then we are going to click on this login button, right? So that is also available in the login object. So I can say like login, not this one, so login dot login, click login button. Okay, and why it's throwing us error? Because we copy pasted and we forgot to remove this argument. Okay, yeah, that's it. Now once we load this one, I mean, first of all, we'll write some verification. Without verification, writing test is useless. Okay, so here we are going to say like expect and page dot URL to be this one. Okay, so initially when we launch the website, this should be our expectation, and when we click on the login button, it should take me to again this login, right? But when I click on this, what we call that, sign out, I mean, sorry, when I click on this login, the URL should be this one, right? So here once I click on here, I can say like same thing, expect, and we can say like page dot URL to be, and this guy. Okay, now you can ask me, hey Koushik, you didn't use the await in page.url. Simple reason, if I mouse around the URL, you can see it is going to return me the string, not the promise of string. So in that scenario, I don't have to use the await. Okay. Yeah, so we have clicked the login button. Then once we click on the login button, there will be a navigation, right? So here you can see this is basically going to do the navigations. We can handle that, or else what we can do is we can handle the element. Okay, so for example, I can say like common dot toaster, right? This toaster is going to return me what? I have to get the text and I have to do the validation, right? So I can just simply write here, so expect common dot toaster. Before that, of course, I have to write the await. Let's store this. Okay, so we'll just make it very simple. So I'll just name it like toaster. Okay, and then here I'm going to say expect await toaster dot what is the text content, right? So text content is the function to get the text, and we are expecting partially, so we can use like what is that, to have partially, how would you, how to contains, I think so, to contains, yeah, to contain, and then we'll say like welcome. Okay, so we are expecting welcome. Okay, and since there is a loader, it might not be visible very quickly, so instead of finding the element directly, what we can use the this dot page dot wait for selector. Okay, wait for selector. That means it will wait until the element is there for 30 seconds. So default timeout is 30 seconds. For the 30 seconds it will wait for the element. Once we got the element, then we'll check the contents. Okay, once that is done, we'll just click on this guy. We will click on the sign out button, right? So here we'll say like await, and again header dot click sign out link. Okay, that's it. We are pretty much done. I think this makes much sense to me, to you as well. Now we'll just try to run it, and then we'll do code changes if necessary. Okay, already the video is very lengthy, so I will not waste your time again. So let's go. So we are going to bring the control J, I mean bring the terminal using control J, and let's navigate within the test folder. So cd test page object test, and then I'm going to say just, then followed by the test case name. Hopefully it should run. Let's see. You can see that the UI is moving little up and down because it's waiting and to click on the sign out button. That is the beauty of Playwright. We really don't have to write much waits, but in some scenarios we have to write. Okay, so test case is complete. Let's go, and here you can see that we got these as a pass pass pass. Okay, so that's it. Very cool. A few things we have to remember. I have shown a demo to write the test case page object model test case for the login, but if this login is your preconditions, then definitely we don't have to write these things, right? Instead of that, what we can do is we can write a function here like public async uh, login, and we can pass the user name of type string and a password of type string. Okay, and one bracket is missing, and then we can call all this, right? So here what we have done is basically this dot enter username, and username should be passed, and then this dot enter password, and password will go here, and then this dot click login button. Okay, and of course everywhere you should write the await. Okay, that's it, pretty much done. Now call this function. So instead of writing this many of lines, for example we have signed out, then we are going to write another test for another user, right? So we'll just make it like login again, and here okay, and here I have to pass the data. So what data? So I'll just use maybe some another data now. And the password is going to be the same, I think. Let me give it here. Okay, and that should be within the double quotes or single quotes. Okay, so this is how you have to write the test case for the login. I mean, if this is your precondition, you just call the function, you give the correct credential, it will logged in, then you do whatever you want. For example, if you still don't understand, let me show you once again. Okay, so I have written the test case to demonstrate how to write the page object model for the login scenario. But let's say that once we are on the main page, we have to log in, and once we logged in, then we have to go to the test practice, and here we have to go to the forms, and here we have to fill the form. Okay, so filling the form is actual our test case, not the login. Login is basically, it's going to be your precondition, and sign out is going to be your post condition, correct? So in that scenario, we really don't have to write this many lines again and again. Instead of that, just write the login, and once you logged in, you just verify. Okay, so of course there should not be any test without expect. That is the reason we are doing automation. If you don't try to expect, I mean, any of kind of assert, then you have a bad code. Okay. Anyway, I hope you got the idea, and that's it for this page object model. I thought of bringing up this into two parts, but one video is fine, I think. Just a 40 minutes, so yeah, that's fine. Okay. And of course, you already know how to read the data from JSON. You can just instead of hard coding the data, you can make it or you can grab it from the um, JSON file. Okay, I'll just leave a link in the card somewhere here. You can check it out. Okay, and apart from that, maybe in another video we'll write some complex scenario as well if time permits. Okay, and how to run in parallel, how to handle all the credentials, the environment, we'll see in our upcoming upcoming videos. Okay, so that's it from my side. If you have any queries, please feel free to ask me in the comments. Don't put any kind of links. Mostly YouTube will block those, so try to just write a simple simple text without using any links. And if you want to share any screenshot, like you are getting this error, that error, probably you can use our Facebook group, or you can use our Gitter, or maybe if you want like immediate response, you can join our channel membership, where I am providing you the WhatsApp link, so you can just talk to me, okay, in the group. Yeah, so that's it from my side. Thanks for watching, and if this helps you, kindly share the video so that YouTube will know this video is worth, and you will start promoting my videos as well. Okay, so tata, see you in the next one.